What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie the Black, STEVEE, the Black. I'm back, and I'm here to give you my Monday Night Raw review. So, without wasting any more time, let's get straight into the video. So, Raw kicks off with Drew McIntyre coming into the ring. He talks about, him having to overcome the winner-take-all tag team match last week with him and R-Truth against Bobby Lashley and MVP. He was like, hey, I did what I had to do to win, survive, and I'm still your WWE champion. Then Dolph Ziggler comes out. He says that he and Bobby Roode were traded to Raw for AJ Styles, and that he's really happy for Drew to be WWE champion, but that he owes him one. He says that it's his. He said he's the reason. He says because of me, you're WWE champion, because I brought you back to Monday Night Raw, and all the success you've had has been because of me. So last year, you remember last year when he used to be like, it should have been me? He gone from it should have been me to because of me. So just a little nugget there I noticed yesterday. So basically he challenges Drew to a match at Extreme Rules for the championship, for the WWE Championship. Drew accepts, and it's official. So now they're gonna have a match at Extreme Rules. It's pretty good. I guess I'm excited for it. Drew has been great since he's been WWE champion. Dolph, those two put on a great match. It's just, Dolph's not gonna win, and I think Dolph Ziggler really deserves one more championship run. But I also think the Miz deserves championship run too. There are a lot of guys who deserve championship wins, but I don't know if we're ever gonna get that. Anyway. See what's next. So next up we have Nia Jax. She comes to the ring and she's talking about how once again Charlotte gets another title opportunity, but she was the one who got screwed out of her title match last week, both title matches. So then R-Truth comes out before she could finish, and he mistakes her for Akira Tozawa because he's supposed to have a match with him later for the 24/7 championship. But what happened? Did he come out? Did he come out? Oh yes, he saw Akira Tozawa, so he races and chases after him, or the ninjas come after him. So R-Truth leaves. Then Charlotte comes out, and those two talk, and she's like, "Look, you've never beaten me," and she's like, "The one time we did face." Nia talking to Charlotte, she's like, I dominated you 3 years ago, and you've been running from me ever since. So then they start fighting each other, but during the fight, Charlotte gets her arm hurt, and I knew immediately, right then and there, what was gonna happen. They were gonna use that as an excuse for when Asuka would face Charlotte later in the night, and we will talk about that more later when we get there. Are we there yet? Oh no, not yet. We talk about later that when we get there, but when we do, I'm going to talk more about it. So next up, we had the Street Profits taking on the Viking Raiders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. They've been doing anything you can do, we can do better series. Through it all, they became friends, but they said, yo, when we get in this match, it's on. So they have a really good match between the two. Even the Street Profits even execute the Viking experience on to the Raiders, but it doesn't work. Eventually it leads to a point where the Montez Ford hits a giant splash, and they're able to pin and beat finally the Viking Raiders on Raw. They hug it out, congratulate each other, or great sportsmanship between the two teams, and they're celebrating until until Andrade and Angels Garza come out and jump the Street Profits, obviously declaring that they want next shot at the Raw Tag Team titles. I believe this was the match we were supposed to get at WrestleMania, but it didn't happen because Andrade got injured, so we're getting it now. Viking Raiders come out to help their friends, and then that's that. So I'm interested in seeing where this match goes. Will it lead further down the line to the split of Andrade and Garza, or will they become tag team champions? Time will tell. Next, we had finally Asuka taking on Charlotte Flair. Every time these two get in the ring, it's always magic. It's always good. It's just always been the wrong results. Anyway, we all know Charlotte has had Asuka's number since she's been on the main roster. Obviously, Asuka, being smart, is going after Charlotte's arm constantly throughout the match. The match ends when Charlotte hits a power bomb, but Asuka grabs Charlotte's arm and puts her in the chicken wing or puts her in the Asuka lock. But either way, Charlotte she taps out, and I was like, wow, she didn't just lose, she tapped out. She tapped out, and Asuka finally wins, defeats Charlotte, gets that monkey off her back. Good for her. I'm really, really happy. After the match, Charlotte, she comes out the doctor's office, trainer's office, and she's like, I'm not going to give any excuses. Asuka beat me. Congratulations to her, and she saw the weakness, but, she only beat me because of that. Then Nia Jax comes, jumps her, and hurts her arm even more. And it was then reported today that Charlotte is injured and she's going to be resting. I don't know if she had surgery yet, but she's going to be resting, and she's going to be taking a little bit of time off because she has been working overtime, working on all 3 shows for a little bit there. So I just want to say get well, Charlotte, and we'll see you when you get back. Next up, Edge cuts a promo basically. He talks about how this past weekend on Father's Day he wasn't able to hold his daughters because of his injury and everything, and that Randy Orton has reawakened the beast within. He's no longer the nice guy. He's going to be the rated R superstar once again. Great promo by Edge. Then right after that, Orton has his promo where he talks about, when a snake is threatened, it strikes and then it's attacked. And Edge and Christian coming, and being in my ring, they threatened me, so I had to take them down. I hope they have a full recovery and live a good long life as long as they do it away from me. And that's it. So both great promos by Edge and Randy Orton there, and clearly this feud's not over. And whenever whenever Edge gets back, we'll be looking forward to it. Next up, we had the 24/7 title match. Finally, before the match can start, Bobby Lashley comes out. He beats up all the ninjas, and then he puts the full Nelson on R-Truth, takes him out, and then he leaves. Akira Tozawa, who was hiding under the ring the whole entire time, comes in, pins R-Truth, and is the new 24/7 champion. Great. All right, moving on. Next up, we have Liv Morgan taking on Natalya. Before the match, Natalya, she was like how, because Charlotte's gone and Becky's gone, the women's locker room needs a new leader, and it should be her. She's the veteran there. She helped build the women's revolution, all that stuff. She says she has a big announcement, but time's up, so now she's going to go to the ring for her match against Liv Morgan. It's a pretty good match, but in the end, Lana distracts Liv Morgan long enough for Natalya to put in the sharpshooter and win the match. And then that's it. We don't get an announcement at all. So is the announcement, are we just supposed to figure it out that those two are together? They're a tag team now? But I could deduce that from last week. So, okay. Next up, Randy Orton. First, Ric Flair comes out, and he basically introduces Randy Orton as the as the greatest wrestler of all time. Randy comes out, talks about how, having this fight with Edge and Christian has rejuvenated him as a legend killer. He loves it. And then the Big Show comes out, and he's like, look, we've known each other for years, but I've always known you were a snake, and what you did to my friends, you're going to pay, and I'm going to break every bone in your body. Randy's like, look, Show, come on, man. We're friends, me and you. We grew up together in this business. You're a legend, but Big Show's not having of it. He wants to fight. So Randy's like, look, man, you want this fine, but whatever happens next is on you. So once again, it's pretty much confirming that the Legend Killer is back. Only problem is there's not that many legends. There's really not. You got the Big Show, okay. Maybe you can get John Cena for SummerSlam. Maybe you can get Kurt Angle. Maybe you can get Triple H, but I don't really want to see Triple H and Randy Orton again. I really don't want to see John Cena and Randy Orton again. So my thinking was the Undertaker, but Taker, he retired now, so it's like I don't know what is gonna happen. We know Edge ain't gonna be ready by SummerSlam unless it wasn't very minor injury. But even then, so I wonder where they're gonna go with this thing. But I'm very interested to find out. Next up, we have the women's tag team match between Bayley and Sasha taking on the Iconics. It was a pretty good match, but in the end, Sasha and Bayley, end up retaining their tag team titles after the match. Sasha tells Bayley, she's like, "Hey, look, I'm actually feeling kind of jealous of you. You're Bayley Dose Straps, and I want to know what it's like to hold 2 titles. So I'm gonna have to challenge. So I'm issuing a challenge." But as we all predicted, it wasn't against Bayley. It was against Asuka. So Asuka comes out, she accepts, and then she gets beat down by Bayley and Sasha Banks. So at Extreme Rules, we're gonna have Sasha versus Asuka, and I don't hate that idea at all. That should be a pretty good match. Will she win is the question. Ooh, I don't know. That would be definitely interesting, but we'll have to see. Next up, we have Apollo Crews on the VIP. MVP once again trying to convince Apollo to join his side, but he's not having any of it. He's like, "Look, you want to be one of the greatest United States champions of all time? That was me. I had a 360 plus day reign as champion, longest ever. You need me." Apollo's like, "Nah, bro, I don't need you." So then Shelton comes out. MVP distracts Apollo for the early beatdown, but eventually it gets to a point in the match where Shelton tries to do a stinger splash, but he hits the LED lights or stand thing. Apollo gets Shelton Benjamin back into the ring. He hits an enziguri, then hits a power bomb and beats him for the win. As he's celebrating as he's leaving Apollo Crews, MVP tries to raise his hand, but Apollo's having none of it. Then Bobby Lashley comes and puts him in the full Nelson and takes him out. So clearly we're heading to Extreme Rules between a match between Bobby Lashley and Apollo Crews, and you just get this feeling that Apollo's not going to win. Or maybe they could do a Nexus thing where how Nexus kept beating down Cena, and then eventually they had a match at a stipulation where he's like, "Look, all right, I'll join you." Okay, or actually, no, I'm sorry, not Nexus and Cena, but a Wyatt and Bryan thing where how Wyatt wanted Dan Bryan to join him, but he didn't want to, so he kept beating him down until the point where Bryan was like, "Okay, I give up, I'll join you." So if they do something like that with Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Apollo, that could be interesting, but we'll have to see. I'd be more surprised if Apollo actually beat Bobby Lashley. That'd be more surprising more than anything. But and then finally, Rey Mysterio returns. Rey Mysterio returns. He talks about how he didn't know where his son Dominic was last week, and he was proud that when he found out he was on. Well, first of all, he was worried when he found out he was heading to Raw, and then when he got there, he was so scared for his life. But he was proud of him for being able to evade being jumped by Seth Rollins and his guys. But he's more upset at him because he was doing something stupid and could have got himself hurt. But he says he has to do this on his own. But Dominic's like, "Nah, Dad, it's me and you." So then Seth Rollins comes out. He's like, 2 eyes are better than one, and everything like that. And I got the feeling that Dominic was gonna turn on Rey, but that didn't happen. Instead, Austin Theory and Murphy came out. But then Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo came out, and they helped. They all jumped Seth Rollins and his guys. They tried to put Seth Rollins' eye through the steel steps. Didn't happen, got broken up. Then they tried to put Dominic's eye through the steel steps. Didn't happen, got broken up. And the good guys were able to chase the bad guys away. And that's how Raw ended. So, overall, I thought Raw was pretty good. Gonna have to give it a B+. It was a pretty good show. Pretty good Championship Monday. Asuka got her first win against Charlotte, although that definitely was the asterisk. I knew that was going to happen. Street Profits finally beat Viking Raiders, which, that's great. But I'm looking forward to this next feud with Zelina's group. And continuing to see Randy Orton as a legend killer, although I'm not too psyched about seeing him against the Big Show, but, whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, a pretty solid episode of Raw, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So please check out the videos that I posted yesterday on my thoughts on the Undertaker's retirement, or claiming that he's retired now, and my video on Over the Edge 1998 Austin Air Review. Check that out. With that being said, that's pretty much about it. So if you're not down with that, just got 2 words for you. Peace out, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.